It's easy to feel all alone in the world. Even if you're a person of faith, career setbacks or other unexpected personal blows can make you feel utterly abandoned. But that's the wonderful thing about believing. Just when you think you can't take anymore, light begins to peek through the clouds. That light was barely visible when a message in a bottle washed up on the beaches of Florida. The people who discovered it couldn't believe their eyes. But once they found out whom the message belonged to, they knew they had to do something. And thus, one old wine bottle started the journey of a lifetime. In September 2017, people of the Florida coast waited in fear for destruction to come their way. There was a dark sky, strong gusts of wind, and a chill in the air. That's because Irma was ready to destroy. The hurricane had already taken her toll on the Northeast Caribbean and was headed to the Sunshine State, which wasn't looking all that sunny. While everyone fled to safety, two people headed directly towards the impending peril. A young couple from Melbourne, Florida. Their names were Nikki Snow and Alan Gibson, and they were ready to chase some storms. Around 3 p.m. on September 20th, Nikki and Alan were taking pictures on the beach and looking out to sea, feeling the rush of the approaching storm. But as the winds grew, they realized they had walked way too far and began to return to higher ground. Running as fast as they could, they made their way back up the shore. But just before they left the beach, they stumbled across something out of place. It caught their eye, and they couldn't ignore it. A dark green wine bottle stuck out from the sand. It could have been sheer curiosity or a desire to keep the beach clean, but the young lovers decided to inspect it. That's when they noticed it wasn't a piece of trash at all. Much to their surprise, the bottle not only had a cork in it, but a piece of paper as well. Had they stumbled upon a real-life message in a bottle? Back at home in Melbourne, while hunkering down from Hurricane Irma as it passed through, Nikki and Alan extricated the letter, eager to see what it might say. There was only one problem: they couldn't read it. Unfortunately, the letter inside was written in Spanish, and neither Nikki's nor Alan's high school language classes could help them comprehend the scribbles on the pages. However, they knew someone who would. Alan actually worked as a line cook at a Cuban restaurant named El Ambia Cubano, a place full of Cuban workers whose mother tongue was Spanish. Surely someone there could translate the message. Luckily, Alan's bilingual kitchen manager, Alfredo Hernandez Froment, was happy to take a crack at it. As it turned out, the letter was a call for help, but not the kind that one would expect from a message in a bottle. It was written by a woman, and it talked about heartbreak and the struggle to overcome mounting obstacles. This girl was trying to get her life and her career together, and Alfredo instantly identified with it. Additionally, Alfredo discovered who the sender was: a young woman living on a tropical island, desperately hoping to improve her life. As she wrote, she poured her struggles into her letter, addressed to Mother. This mystery woman had poured her heart out, rolled up her emotions, and stuffed them into a bottle, sealed it with her wishes, and cast it into the ocean. It was never meant to be read, but it was a good thing it was. See, that the bottle had been swept up by currents, traveled thousands of miles without breaking, was dragged through a hurricane, and eventually slammed onto that Florida beach was a miracle in and of itself. Two worlds were about to collide. Far south in Havana, Cuba, 25-year-old Sheila Lynn was feeling trapped. An R&B singer and pianist, she'd found success at a young age as the Spanish singing voice for the lead princess Tiana in the dubbed version of The Princess and the Frog. Not only was she a talented voice actress, she also produced an album in 2012 titled Real Women. Since then, however, she felt that despite her efforts, her music career had fallen flat, and she was unable to put it back into motion. Sheila's successes were simply not enough for her, and she was hoping to take her talents internationally. She wanted respect, and she wanted her songs to be heard, so badly that she took it up with a higher power. "I've had many obstacles. My heart's been broken a ton of times," the letter read. "I've lost the roof over my head and had almost lost my way, but I'm trying to get back my house, my direction, and my progress." To the intended recipient of her letter, Sheila wrote, "I'm an artist, you know. Since I opened my eyes, music lives in me." Sheila took her note, placed it inside a wine bottle, and took it to pray at the Church of Our Lady of Regla. In Cuba, ancient Yoruban religion brought by West African slaves had blended the Spanish Catholic beliefs to create a practice called Santeria. Those who follow it believe in a system of orishas. Orishas are godly spirits that have taken a human form. Those who practice Santeria have often found a counterpart in Christianity represented by each Orisha, and Chila had someone specific in mind. The Orisha Yemaya is considered the mother of all creation and all other deities. She's associated with the Virgin Mary. She's a goddess of the seas and a protector of women, comforting mother figure. While Alan's co-worker Alfredo was no Orisha, he had defected from Cuba in 1994 and played music. Not only did he share a nationality and a language with Chila, they even had a similar background and interests. Somehow, he managed to find Sheila Lynn's email, and he reached out to the singer to let her know that he had found her message and wanted to help her achieve her dreams by supporting her career. At first, when she read his message, rather than being overjoyed or excited, she got annoyed. She thought that someone in Cuba was playing a cruel prank on her. No way her message made it all the way to Florida, right? However, once she found out that Alfredo meant everything he said, Chila was over the moon. Finally, somebody was on her side, even though it was a stranger who lived thousands of miles away. They kept in touch, and he made sure to listen to her music and was deeply impressed with her work, calling her a talented and dedicated artist. In 2017, she worked hard to release an international album, Amor y Miel, Love and Honey. Sadly, by the time Nikki and Alan found the message in a bottle, Chila didn't have the record deal anymore, but that didn't deter her. Alfredo turned to his own connections to see if they could help this young woman. Knowing Chila's options were limited in Cuba, Alfredo wanted to get her some performing gigs in the United States. It almost seemed too good to be true, and Chila wondered why this stranger would help her out like this. For Alfredo, helping this young singer tour in the US was not at all a business deal, nor did he seek any personal gain. He did it with the utmost devotion, feeling that the Virgin Mary was asking him personally to help this woman. As a matter of fact, the entire journey of the bottled message and the experience of finding a kindred spirit across the ocean had strengthened both of their faiths. This was no coincidence. This was Yemaya's work. I told Sheila the Virgin put this letter in my hand for a reason, Alfredo said. Coincidentally, Sheila had been thinking of expanding her career to the US before she sent out her prayer. Would her dreams finally come true? As of March 2019, there were no official reports of Chila performing in the United States. Yet after her message was found, she'd reportedly assembled a band and was preparing to tour in the US when the opportunity arose. Still, all parties involved in the saga, including Nikki and Alan, were absolutely floored by what transpired. I think it's pretty incredible. 9 times out of 10, you're never going to know who it is, Nikki said. But we found the person. We were able to contact her. So where's the letter now? Alfredo framed it and hung it on the wall of his restaurant, where it was kept company by a shrine to the Virgin. While it hadn't been intended for human eyes, he believed it was brought along by a higher power. One thing is certain, the forces that brought the two together were anything but ordinary.